Castaway. Dedicated to all those people out there who kind of like, Gilligan's Island, Castaway. Anyway, Stealth Mosquitoes, GRB Online. Gary J. Russell with you on Spreaker across America. And got some more great music coming up on the Gary J. in the Morning Show right here on Spreaker. Thanks a lot for tuning in. And if you want to catch me live, I already got posted again. Going to post on MeWe this hour or two, and we got Weather on the Fives coming up as well. Jimmy Gentry on the way, but right now it's time to take a look at the sports page.
Sports page update starts now.
Oh yeah, let's take a look at that. Yesterday, Deshaun Watson had great with Drew Brees, had been great for a long time, but there's a fantastic football Monday night game yesterday. Watson and Brees traded enormous drives. In the final minutes, as Watson drew a 37-yard touchdown to Kenneth Stills.
Got it!
Yeah. Fantastic. And it seemed like it would be left to the Texans for this dramatic win. Now, Drew Brees has been in a spot before, but he got to the Saints in the goal range. And also, we'll take a look at some other sports coming up next hour, including we're talking about that. We've been talking about the Patriots. That's another story in itself. Game the other night. Oh, brother. All right, we're going to have weather on the fives coming up real shortly. We're doing 50 minutes of non-stop music here on Spreaker. Gary J in the morning. Thanks a lot for tuning in. And we'll have weather on the fives on the way. And you want to talk to me? I'd love to hear from you. Don't get any live listeners. I'm kind of posting all over the place. And hoping maybe we could get some live listeners here. So I'm kind of going out to my MeWe site here and see if we can post this show there and maybe get some responses somewhere, because it's been dead all morning. As usual, the Gary J in the Morning Show, always live but not dead, folks. Just plain and simple. I just don't know. I guess it's just one of those things. Either you're good or you're not on this thing, like live radio. Anyway, got a lot of really good stuff anyway. Just do the show no matter where I'm at, no matter if there's any listeners, because radio is like one of those things that's on the air no matter what. People are tuned in or they're not. It's just the way it is. But freaking well, what are you going to do? We're talking about some of the weather. Lafayette, Arizona, 97 degrees, sunny skies today. And we'll take a look at that weather coming up here in just a minute as we get into weather on the fives right here on GTRB Online. And we're going to do that here in just a little bit, give you some national temperatures and stuff like that. And give you a lot. Talking about the weather, there's been there's a front going through. It's going to create some interesting weather, monsoon-type rains, and some areas that's going to give some flash flooding and a lot of stuff, and we're going to keep an eye on that. Weather on the fives here. Weather Nation bringing you weather on the fives, and we bring you weather on the fives at 25 and 45 past the hour on all music shows, 25 and 55 on all music shows, 25, 45 music shows, 25, 55 talk shows for any time in the hour that ends in 5, whenever we get 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, or 55 minutes past the hour right here on GJRB Online. And we're going to check that weather forecast here and give you some national temperatures. And we're going to do that right away as soon as it comes up here. Kind of an interesting weather day. We're going to get some more heat here in the Quad Cities in the Clinton area, but they're saying that we're going to get some rain coming through. And we'll do our Clinton weather forecast in the last hour as we usually do. Along with that, we'll do our Spreaker shout-outs, because I love doing those. Give you a chance to shout out to all our Spreaker podcasters who have shows on here, and talk about some of the ones that I've been checking out. And, of course, let you know that Spreaker is the place if you want to do live internet radio. That's Spreaker. It's Spreaker spelled wrong on purpose. Spreaker. And this is a fabulous place to do radio. Spreaker, and it's a great podcast platform. It really is, and I love doing this. So you just want to get in on it. That's Spreaker, and broadcasting. What I'm going to do with my cell phone. Can't find it. I have to find that. Oh, here it is. I moved it over to the windowsill. I'm afraid I knocked it on the floor somewhere. Hate when that happens, man. Hey, let's take a look at some of that weather. We got that low pressure system going over Bismarck. And we got a low pressure system going over to the northeast right now. A line of storms going through Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. And you got severe outlook, risky weather in Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. and Bismarck, and here in the Midwest, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and some of our states going to get it up all the way to the northern end. Here is Weather Nation. It looks like we're not getting Weather Nation here. I don't know why. Yeah, I know why. Let's see here. I'll turn on the stupid mixer.
Interestingly enough, Wyoming could see everything from snow to severe weather today.
Yeah, they are under the severe weather risk here today in areas of Jackson, Wyoming, but even across the higher elevations over the next couple of days, we might be getting a little bit of snowfall out there. Some areas could be reaching up to maybe 6 inches.
And it's really, it's September. It's kind of
It's a 4-letter word. We're here yet.
Start to accelerate. We talk about snow. Other spots still hanging on to those summertime severe thunderstorms. So let's take a look at your severe outlook for the remainder of your Tuesday, because we are highlighting a large portion of the northwest and the northern high plains, including anywhere from Pocatello, Idaho, down to Salt Lake City, across much of Wyoming, and then into the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Iowa. We could also see isolated severe storms around the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma, as well as an isolated storm or two around Detroit, Michigan. But this is going to be the focal point, because it's also where we have the highest threat of severe weather for the rest of today, where all modes of severe weather are in play for Pocatello, Billings, Rapid City, and Sioux Falls, including damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour, large hail. Because we are talking about snow for some spots, we've got a lot of cold air aloft, which could help those hailstones not only to form, but then also grow, maybe up to 2 inches in diameter, and then also not ruling out some rotation within these storms, particularly between the border of South Dakota and Nebraska. So conditions will be kicking up for you in Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho first, and then eventually this whole complex will start to shift very slowly off to the east. But notice how into this evening we start to see that rain stretching up closer to the Canadian border, and then those storms really start to intensify when we get out towards South Dakota and Nebraska. The colors here are an indication of the rainfall rates, not necessarily of the storm intensity, but this is where we could see some of the strongest storms as we go throughout your Tuesday evening. Now, of course, storms, they don't just stop when the clock hits 0. All of this is going to continue to press off towards the east, moving into places like Minnesota for the start to your Wednesday morning. So rough evening commute for some across the Dakotas and Nebraska, and then we'll have to contend with storms both in the morning as well as in the evening for folks in Minneapolis, Sioux Falls. Once again, you're on deck for Wednesday, and also Colby, Kansas. And then Thursday, this whole system, it's going to be very slow to move, and as the cold front slips through the plains, we'll keep that severe weather in play Thursday from the Twin Cities down through Des Moines, even back down into portions of Oklahoma. So notice how these are large regions that we're highlighting under that severe potential day after day, and it's because of this large complex plus all of the available ingredients that we're going to have setting up day after day across the central United States. And some of these storms could be quite powerful. So again, impacts to your morning and evening commutes for the next couple of days are possible. But let's talk more about that S word, about snow. We take you back to Jackson, Wyoming, a different view this time, this one from town. Now, Jackson, Wyoming sits at about 6,000 feet, but once you get a little higher up into the elevations of, say, the Grand Tetons, that's where we've got that snow potential.
Yeah, here at Weather Nation, this is one of our favorite winter time cameras. So, if we're starting to show this camera a little bit more, you know what's coming. We're talking about that snow, of course, like Vicki did mention. Our lowest temperatures since midnight have been quite chilly for some areas, and Salmon reaching 39 degrees for the low. Wherever there's dark blue on the map there, that's in the 30s for the temperatures that we did see earlier this morning. 45 in Missoula, 52 in Billings, and 50 in Idaho Falls. Even across Wyoming, temperatures dipped down to the 40s as well. Today's high temperatures not going to be warming up too much, anywhere from the 50s all the way up into the 70s expected for the highs here today. Of course, much colder into the higher elevations where temperatures won't even be reaching reaching over 50 degrees for the high today. So let's take a look at the forecast here. We have some snowfall as we head throughout the afternoon hours, and that's also going to continue as we head into our overnight hours. Once we head into early Wednesday morning, notice the northwestern part of Wyoming there. You're definitely going to be seeing a little bit of snow, maybe a little bit of that wintry mix into the higher elevations. So if you're traveling into the extreme higher elevations across the mountain passes, definitely want to make sure to plan a little bit of extra time. You could be looking at some slick road conditions, and this is also going to continue as we head into the afternoon on our Wednesday. Definitely going to be seeing a few spots here and there of snowfall for those higher elevations. And that extends all the way up towards Montana as well, where we're definitely going to be seeing some of that snow. So let's take a look at our forecast here just real quick, where you noticed that we could be seeing up to around 6 inches of snow over the next several days. So all this talk about snow, you might be wondering, well, is this a little bit early? When should we be seeing the first average snowfall? Well, for more information on that, here's meteorologist Chris Bianchi.
The leaves are changing, the temperatures are cooling, which means that for most of you, snow isn't far behind. Some cities get their first snow as early as November or even October. But which of America's largest cities gets the earliest average snowfall? Maybe it's Minneapolis. They get tons of snow, right? The Twin Cities see their first average snowfall on November the 18th. That's pretty early, but not quite the earliest. If not the Twin Cities, what about Buffalo, New York? The city sits on the shores of Lake Erie and averages about 95 inches of snow per year. With Buffalo, it does take a bit of time for that lake-effect snow machine to kick into gear, and their average first snow is on November the 8th. Maybe a bit of elevation is what we need, so how about the mile-high city of Denver, Colorado? That gets you really close to America's earliest first average snowfall with the first average snow date of October the 18th, but not quite there. To find the winner, look north, way north. By just 2 days, the earliest average first snow in an American city of 100,000 or more people is in Anchorage, Alaska, with an average first snowfall of October the 16th.
Fabulous. Yeah, there you go. October the 6th. Well, you know, I believe that. Because here's the deal. Especially when you get up here in the Midwest, where it starts getting cold around the beginning of October. So this is like the last warm month. We're going to have the last blast of heat coming up this week. And I'll give you our local Clinton weather forecast coming up here on GJRB Online. Weather on the 5s, 25 and 45 minutes past the hour on music shows, 25 and 45. That's music shows, 25, 55 talk shows, or any time in the hour that ends in 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, or 55 minutes past the hour on GJRB Online. Coming up next hour, got some great music for you. Stay with me. Got the latest from that new one by Daniel Myers called Cowgirl Cadillac. Also have another new artist that we've been playing and we introduced on our up-and-coming show. We're going to play it. What did you think of that last song we played the last show, Dulcimer? I was listening to that again. It was not too bad. And it will play Not Led to the Light by Rainey, which is still pretty darn good. It's going to get gain some heavy play. The latest from Songbrother coming up this hour, too. Please Tell Me the Truth. And, of course, Mike McCorson. Great country song called Whiskey Talkin' is all coming your way this hour on GJRB. Along with that, Samuel Day's latest and a lot of other good new emerging artists will be entering our a heavy play. So stay with me for that. It's all coming up next hour right here on GJRB Online. But right now it's time to take a look at some of the news from the GJRB News Desk. I'm Gary J. Russin reporting, and here's some of the stories we're covering for you in the GJRB News Desk this hour. Locally in the news, an Iowa man faces some charges of child molestation. We'll get that story. Right here in Clinton, Iowa, a young Iowa man is free now on $100,000 bond after he was arrested for child molestation in Davies County. Davies County Sheriff's Department reported the arrest of William Tyler Hill, 22, of Clarion, Iowa, on charges of child molestation and dissemination of a matter harmful to minors. He was arrested Friday following an investigation by Sheriff's Department Deputy Kevin Eaton, saying that the probable cause of affidavit filed by the Davis County Court. He began an investigation after receiving reports of an alleged child molestation from a case manager from Indiana Department of Child Services involving a female of about 16 years old. Meanwhile, in other news, we have that story, and also a story covering the news. They had recovered a couple of men from that capsized ship, and President Trump earlier today fired his. Let's see, where's that at now? Let's see. Earlier today, President Trump, and this is breaking news, like about a half hour ago. President Trump fires his national security advisor, John Bolton, saying he just requested his resignation right off the bat, right there, saying due to a disagreement, but they're not saying over what. So that's a story we're covering for you. Also in the news this afternoon, the Brexit story is in the news, and we get more of that story, plus more from Reuters News.
British lawmakers in the early hours of Tuesday morning dealt Prime Minister Boris Johnson yet another defeat after they rejected for the second time in a week his bid to try and break the Brexit deadlock with an early general election. Johnson needed a majority of 2/3 for the motion to pass, but fell far short of the threshold.
The ayes to the right, 293. The noes to the left, 46.
Johnson had wanted to hold a snap election in mid-October before a European Union summit on October 17th, and before the country is due to leave the EU on October 31st.
This government will press on with negotiating a deal. While preparing to leave without one.
Johnson said he would not request an extension to Brexit, even after a law was passed on Monday demanding Britain seek one from the EU, unless he can strike a divorce deal.
No matter how many devices this Parliament invents to tie my hands, I will strive, Mr. Speaker, to get an agreement in the national interest.
Opposition Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn said the party was eager for an election, but would not support Johnson's move to hold one until it was certain a delay to Brexit had been secured.
Mr. Speaker, this government is a disgrace, and the way the Prime Minister operates is a disgrace.
Be quiet. House of Commons Speaker John Bercow, who has clashed with the Prime Minister, said he would stand down on the same day of the Brexit deadline and issued a warning to the government not to, quote, degrade Parliament. Just before 2 a.m. local time, some lawmakers lined up to shake his hand. Parliament is now due to be suspended until October 14th.
Jubilant scenes as rescue workers managed to free the final crew member trapped inside a South Korean cargo vessel. The Golden Ray, carrying thousands of vehicles, had flipped onto its side off the coast of Georgia on Sunday. Salvage crews gradually drilled an opening into the ship's massive hull on Monday, first to deliver food and water to the survivors, then to extract the first 3 crew members. The final crew member had been stuck behind a glass panel in the engineering control room. He was the only one who did not get any supplies when rescue workers broke through the hull around 35 hours into their ordeal. Temperatures for rescue workers outside rose to 120 degrees Fahrenheit, though it was thought to have been even hotter inside the ship. The crew members were taken to hospital. Helicopters rescued 20 others from the 656-foot vessel on Sunday after it became disabled, began listing, and eventually fell helplessly onto its side near Brunswick, Georgia. It's not known what might have caused the vessel to tip over. The local Coast Guard says it'll now focus on environmental protection and removing the capsized vessel.
Only hours after North Korea said it wanted to restart U.S. talks, the country fired off 2 new projectiles on Tuesday. The launches were detected by South Korean military. They appeared to be 2 short-range projectiles fired towards the east. South Korean authorities say they're closely monitoring the situation. The maximum flying distance of these projectiles has been detected at around 330 kilometers, and South Korean and the U.S. intelligence authorities are analyzing further details. This marks the 8th launch since President Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un met at the Korean border in June. Both sides agreed to restart negotiations. However, U.S. officials have said attempts to resume talks have gone unanswered. Meanwhile, the missile tests have kept coming. Some analysts have told Reuters they see it as a case of Kim returning to missile diplomacy. North Korea's vice minister said in state media Tuesday that the North was willing to resume comprehensive discussions with the U.S. in late September. However, he warned those talks could fall apart unless Washington takes a fresh approach to negotiations. What happens next isn't clear. The State Department said they had no new talks to announce. While the missiles Pyongyang's launched this year were all short-range, analysts warn that many of them are a new variety, designed to evade interception by the U.S. missile defense system.
You're up to date. For more, check back later or download the Reuters TV app.
Be smart to turn the microphone up and say that's it for the news this hour. Keep in touch with the news through Reuters, through any of the other news sources, whether news when you need it at the bottom of the top of the clock to keep you on top throughout daily broadcast of GJRB Online. Next news, the next broadcast of GJRB Online. Gary J. Russin, GJRB News. We got another great hour of music. Last hour of the Gary J. in the Morning Show as we head into 5 minutes past 12 o'clock Central Daylight Time. It's 5 after 1 o'clock Eastern, but we still got some morning left over in the Pacific as well as Alaska right now, up around Anchorage and all that. And you have temperatures... We'll take a look at your temperatures up north coming up a little later on. 1205, 105 right now Mountain, 1005 Pacific. And I'm Gary J. Rustin. You're listening to Gary J. in the Morning right here on Spreaker across America. And we've got some great music coming up. So I hope you'll keep it here on GJRB Online. Got some new music. Got some new emerging artists in our last hour. So keep it here on GJRB for the best in music. And Weather on the Fives, we'll talk to the two this hour. Don't forget, all you got to do is get into the where my Twitter is, and I'm the Radio Maniac. Just hit that button, and it'll take you right into my chat room. Come in and say hi. Love to hear from you. Got some really good music this afternoon as we get into the afternoon part of the broadcast and wrapping up our show for today here on GJRB Online. So why don't we keep the music going here on GJRB, here on Spreaker right now. Yeah, Stockwell's will start off this hour. Along with that, some new emerging artists, got some new stuff, got some country, got some Christian rock. It's all coming up this hour. And, of course, we'll give you our shout-outs to all the Spreaker podcasters coming up this hour. This is Stockwell's Busy Mind Thinker on GJRB.
You change your mind. I was thinking you could change your mind. As for me and my obsessions, that a busy mind someday will find the truth. I need to make me believe you that you won't do me any harm. I wish you were my first, 'cause I had a bad few in my time. Been thinking about what you said, but my head is on the wrong side. I don't do chameleons. I don't do chameleons. I was thinking you could change your mind. I was thinking you could change your mind.
Head into the final part of the Gary J. The Morning Show. We have 50 minutes of non-stop music to wrap up our show today. So if you'll stay with me, music and talk. Come on in and say hi. We'll be posting around one more time and see if we can get some audience out there. I'm sure there's a bunch of you out there who are listening to Gary J. in the Morning across America. Here on Spreaker, on GJRB Online. This is Jimmy Gentry. And a great song here called Born to Fly.
A young man in a wheelchair, no feeling in his limbs, taking what life's dealt him with his silly grins. But he's looking to that final day when he can be made new, and he can run and play. And here's a man in prison, paying for his deeds, wants to be with his family, providing for their needs. He's had a change of heart, but still he has to pay. Now he is living for that glorious day. 'Cause he was born to run, born to fly, born to be free like the wind in the trees. When the Savior comes to take him home, he will be free like he was meant trying to remember all that she has done. She talks about those people that help her every day, and she can't wait for heaven, and we often hear her say, that I was born to run, born to fly, born to be free like the wind in the trees. When the Savior comes to take me home, I will be free like I've wanted to be. And I was born to run and born to fly, born to be free like the wind in the trees. When the Savior comes to take us home, we will be free like we were meant to be. Like we were meant to be.
Okay, we got a great song there coming up next. Try it again. We got a great song coming up next here from a great new country artist we have on our list. It's fabulous. Stay tuned. It's Cowboy Cadillac coming up next. And you got Gary J. Russell with you on GJRB Online here on Spreaker. Thanks a lot for tuning in.
Generations of family service in business since 1921. The Pape Funeral Home of Clinton.
Back on the air here on GJRB Online, Gary J. Russell with you as we're going to be wrapping up our 50 minutes of nonstop music, and we're going to close out our last part and get ready for our next part as we close out the show today. Here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker across America, you like our music? Please drop me a line. If you please hit that like button, because I always want to know if there's anybody out there. Hit that like button, because then it goes into the algorithms, and you know, it just gives us, it becomes a suggestion for some people to listen to some great radio. GJRB Online here on Spreaker, and love to hear from you on our last part of the show today. And we'll take your comments as well. And we're going to wrap up our show with our shout-outs. We got that coming up. Wrap up with the shout-outs and let you know what's happening there. And we've got some more great music coming your way, so keep it here on GJRB Online here on Spreaker across America, and playing all the good music. And we'll have our last Weather on the Fives coming up shortly, too. Right after we take a look after Cowboy Cadillac. Yeah, here's the new one. Fabulous. New Indiana Girl.
Now it's powder blue with a new V8, city
New music there for you from, I can't remember her name now. I'll go back there. No, the last name is Myers, believe it or not.